Hi YouTube, Virtue here with another clip. I'm going to do a bit of a critique of Ghost Adventures, one of their latest in their series, which was the 2-hour, shall we say, show. I would call it more an ad, where they investigated Zak Bagan's haunted museum. First up, I'm on their website because I actually had another clip prepared, and I thought I'd got round the problem with anything that you use video or images from Ghost Adventures being blocked. But unfortunately I haven't. So it got blocked again. I mean, we can watch it in the UK and other countries as well because they're not allowed to block it here, but in the US it was entirely blocked. And you know, it's inconvenient that there's no video footage, and I'm sure there's a way to get around it, something to do with ISPs or something like that. I just don't have the time to be messing around with that. So what I've done is I've cut to the chase. I'm just going to do this like a radio podcast and talk about what's going on. I have linked the film clip, or the video of the entire hour show. As I said, it was 2 hours. I only bothered with one because I didn't have the wherewithal to get through the second hour. The first was bad enough. What I want to talk about, and what I'm really peeved about with these guys, is that there is such a huge conflict of interest here. I just don't believe that they're serious about this. You can't investigate your own business, because of course it's going to be haunted, because as any person knows. Would he do an episode on his haunted museum and not let it be haunted? I mean, come on, he'd be out of business if he walked away and said we picked up nothing. So what they did is they got in basically 4, I think it was, people, practitioners. There was a good witch who was also a psychic. There was a bad witch who was Lady Snake, who was put down in some sort of cauldron. I mean, pardon us while we get hit by more stereotypes. Zach, you don't think you could try something a little more unique in your approach? And then there was another voodoo expert, Bloody Mary, I think her name is. I'm not talking about her. I'm only talking about the 2 witches and my favourite, Father Sebastian, who is a self-professed vampire and fang master, occultist as well. All of it's really unclear what he does. He gave a stellar performance, honestly. It was just so hammed up. Anyway, let's go on, and I'll actually talk about him now. So let's move on to the next clip. Okay. So we're on Father Sebastian's website, as you can see what he does. I'm going to talk about his part in this Ghost Adventures episode. I'm also going to state that he has been on their payroll before, and to mention that all of the other guests that he had that came to investigate have all been on the payroll. Those guests are kind of like the Ghost Adventure Inner Circle. So, they're hardly really going to be independent, investigative opinions about if this museum is haunted. Because I really believe that that's what he needs to do. If he really wants people to believe it's haunted, why can't he prove that there are some sort of entities in his museum? And with the entire episode, even the second one, the second hour of it, there's no proof. It is just Zak Bagan's high drama and a way to make this museum look more haunted than it actually probably is. Okay, so what does he do? Father Sebastian comes in and he's paid to stare into two mirrors. There are two mirrors in this room. One of them is the Bela Lugosi mirror. And that's because he's a vampire and he can figure this out. And he knows all about dead people, apparently. Talk about a laugh. I actually do the real thing for those that don't know. I actually do undo hauntings. I paint the dead. I work with the dead a lot, and I can go after really nasty hauntings. Got a lot of experience. And I can tell you, this guy is just a fake. He's so fake, it's ridiculous. So what he does is he comes in with his consort, the great mighty Isabella, who just sits there meekly, I think fighting off whimpers, because she puts nothing into any of this. It was too funny. So they stand in front. He stands in front of the mirror. She's not allowed to, of course, because she's just the consort. You get to the corner, dear, and don't interfere with the real people's work here. Anyway, he stands in the first mirror and babbles on something about, you know, a good spirit or something's not going to hurt you, but there's a spirit in the mirror. I've never come across a spirit in the mirror. I mean, I don't mind being proven wrong if there actually are, but, well, haunted objects are not really my thing, but have I come across a spirit in the mirror? No. So I don't know where they're getting this from in the first place. It's Hollywood, I have no doubt. Anyway, so he stares in the first mirror, and then he goes to the Bela Lugosi mirror. It's worth watching, even if you skim through the video that I've linked down there, just to see this scene. Because if you can see it from the right perspective, it's comical. It really is. He's in the Bela Lugosi mirror, and he's staring into it. It's all dark. Isabel's in the corner where she should be. And downstairs in their monitoring room, there are two guys sitting there monitoring what he's actually doing. Now, just at this time, before this next incident happens, with perfect timing, they happen to say, "Oh, look at that," and point to the image of him staring on the monitor, staring into the mirror. Isn't that weird? Now, I watched it back a few times. There was nothing. He didn't move. He didn't flinch. He didn't say anything. Nothing happened. What was weird? No, that was the setup. That was you can't have the drama unless you set this up. So back we go into the room, and I have no doubt there's editing and things in the midst of this as well. Back we go into the room, and you see him step backwards, Father Sebastian, and suddenly he just hits the floor. And he's out like a light, like he's not moving. Of course, back to the monitoring room where these guys go into high drama mode, and they're on their walkie-talkie. Quick, Father Sebastian, he's collapsed. And here comes Zak, the conquering hero yet again. He's such a dick. I used to like Zak Bagan. He's always been a bit of a tool, sure. But lately, I think he's really believing his own press. I think he's become victim to his own fame. Because he's just turned into this mad narcissist that has got to conquer everything. When, in fact, if he really looked at what he was doing, particularly all the footage of what he was doing in this new series, with a critical eye, he would realise that he's proving nothing. He's just making shit up now. So there's Father Sebastian back in the room. There's Father Sebastian collapsed, and little bit Isabel's run from the corner, and she's oohing and ahhing, and I don't know what happened, Zak, because she's so glad Zak's here. Just the whole thing is just, it's so set up. Honestly, that situation in reality, if they had one of their people there that actually collapsed, do you think they wouldn't have turned the lights on? All the lights were out. You don't think they would have put a light on to see if he needed anything? Did he need CPR? Was he dead? Had he had a heart attack? Had he had an epileptic fit? Was he having a brain aneurysm? What the fuck? There's no medics running up anywhere. Just call Zach. Don't call any medics or any first aid or anything. Just call Zach. You're not even trying, Ghost Adventures. You're not trying anymore. This is pure Hollywood, and that's fine. If they want to do pure Hollywood and Father Sebastian wants to put on this act, oh, God, it was funny. Do that, but don't make out it's real, because this is the problem, is they keep making out that this is real. It's not. It's an act. It's scripted. So Father Sebastian sits up and he's coughing and spluttering and he's finally getting it together. Still no medical attention. Still no lights going on. Just fucking amazing. And he's babbling on about something, and then they say that there's an anatomy, a light form that comes out of him, which is actually just a piece of fucking dust again. And the dust saves them all the time. And because of that, he's getting better. It was just completely ridiculous. But again, the point is that of course it's going to be scripted, because it's not every day that Zak Bagan gets a 2-hour ad for his own business, and there is no way he's going to let that look like it's, or people think it's not haunted. I mean, if he really was serious about doing this, to proving that his museum was haunted, why doesn't he get in some independent paranormal investigators? Why doesn't he get in a few people like me that actually know what we're doing and can come in and tell him about what's in there? But he doesn't do that because, of course, that's too dangerous, because we may say, sorry, I think that mirror came from Walmart. No Bela Lugosi there, dear. I think that's all I want to say. I'm going to move on to the last one. The last clip is really funny because it's where Zach tries to almost provoke a fight between the good and the bad witch. It's quite the watch. Anyway. Okay, this is just a Ghost Adventure things on Reddit, and it talks about someone else saying that this scene was probably quite likely to be faked. I don't know with Lady Snake or this other white witch whose name is Patty. I don't know if they are legitimate. They very well could be. I'm not going to say, besides I don't want my ass kicked if they are. My ass kicked enough by people lately. It just was hysterical. It's also worth having a look in the link that I've got below at this clip, because it is just Zak Bagan's Days of Our Lives. It is such a fucking soap opera. It's hysterical. The White Witch is down one end of the place in a gypsy caravan inside the museum. I don't know why. And Lady Snake, the Black Witch, is down at the cauldron conjuring things up, which she may be very good at, I don't know. But the White Witch is having all of these visions, and her job was to have visions of all the other practitioners in the house or in the museum at the time that were working in separate rooms. I don't believe her to start with, because the visions were too accurate. They were too perfect. It's never that perfect, Zach. If you're going to fake it, make it look real at least. It was just too accurate. I mean, I don't know that Zach is the brightest person in the world. I really don't, but whoever faked this just doesn't understand what they're doing. So there is a scene where Zach brings the White Witch down to confront the Black Witch. comedy gold, I can tell you, it really was. The thing I love about Lady Snake is the way she holds onto that staff. I think, yeah, you go, don't you let that go. I was rooting for her. I was like, come on. So Zak tries to basically provoke them. Lady Snake says that she wishes to do violence, and of course this is Zak's cue to try and make it even more dramatic. And they're sort of pissing around. They're saying, you know, oh, you're not welcome here. Get out. And, you know, I'm going to hurt you. I'm not going to hurt you. This sort of crap over this bloody cauldron. And I mean, all he wants, and we all know what he wants people to come down to the museum and say, oh, that's where the witches had the fight. When they have a look at this stupid cauldron. Unbelievable. It really was funny as. So Zak decides he's got to be the hero again. He's got to take this growing fight between these witches into hand. As if he could. There's a fantasy. He tries to get the staff that Lady Snake is hanging on to. And she just says, no, you're not getting it. So he gives up and he steps away again. And they piss around like it really wasn't. It was fairly lame. And in this thing, there's a comment in this Reddit page that they were apparently friends. Wouldn't be surprised. But Zak again goes for the staff, and this Lady Snake's not giving it up whatsoever. No, you basically leave it alone. She's got an iron grip on it. So that went on again. They were back and forth a bit, and it was really pretty stupid stuff they were saying. And then Zak, all of a sudden, because of Zak's got to, he gets the feelings. I have the spirit. And distracts everyone because he's, oh, can you feel that? Nothing specific about what you actually can feel, but can you feel that was good enough. And basically the scene ends. Anyway, that was quite amusing. There is a lot of other funny stuff. In the second series, or the second hour of this, the funniest thing that I saw, and I was going to do a bit in it, but I didn't want the clip to get too long, is the ragdoll. There's a haunted ragdoll, apparently. If you've ever seen 3 grown men squealing at a doll, it is just hysterical. It really is. Get a grip, guys. It's a fucking doll. God's sake. Anyway, as I said before, my problem is that he investigates his own business. And he should have got independents, people that had a good independent position. I think not only does he make a joke out of a lot of the practitioners that are around, like people like me, because I tell you, if I went into that museum, he couldn't tell me what to look at and what I would be evaluating, because spirit would be telling me what to look at, not him, to start with. And I wouldn't faint. Because the truth is that I just don't think it's haunted. Look, it might be a good museum to have a look at, sure. Lots of crazy junk in there. A lot of it has got Zak's image on it. Oh, look up narcissism, Mr. Baggins. You're going down the path. Anyway, there were no skeptical views whatsoever. There was no validation of anything. Even me, I've been doing hauntings for 25 years, and I still want validation. If I hear something, and I rarely hear things, mainly it's a psychic thing that I do, and a ritual thing that I do that clears it up. And I think a lot of hauntings, most hauntings, are uneventful and not really filmable for an entertainment show, because a lot of it happens within you and within the people experiencing the hauntings. You can talk about the experience, and sure, that's interesting, but can you actually show it? Not really. And it's so easily faked. But he should have had some skeptical voices there. there's plenty of good skeptics out there that would come in and look at what he's doing. And he should have that, because you should be skeptical when you deal with the dead. You can't just sit there and accept it all. Otherwise you end up in fantasy land like Mr. Baggins, with a museum of junk that you're desperately trying to convince people is haunted. And as I said, Bill, just to say it again, I don't care if they want to have a TV show that entertains people, as long as they're being a little bit honest and saying that it's not real. This was set up, this was scripted. Because if it was scripted, they should be saying it's scripted. Because it makes all the other people in that field, like the other paranormal investigators, look like complete fuckwits. It makes everyone in that industry look bad, particularly someone of his level of fame in that area. I mean, he would safely be the biggest paranormal investigator around, and certainly the most well known. And he's just taken the piss. Anyway, I'll put a whole heap of links to some of the other people that were involved in the show in the description box. It's worth a watch. No, it's completely fake, and I'd love to hear other people's opinions of what they think. It is highly entertaining. You will get a laugh out of it. Zach has turned... The other thing that is hysterical to watch out on if you do it, watch when he tells... this just going back to Father Sebastian, when he tells off the mirror after Father Sebastian's incident. It's hysterical. It really is. Anyway, I'll leave it there and wish you all... I will hope that you've actually enjoyed that, and you join me on another clip. It'd be great if you could subscribe. I'll see you again later.